Let's start with the window object, so the overall holding container. And remember that I always said that the global scope is the window object. So this global object is the window object in the browser, and this is the case. Therefore, you can log many things, like for example, the width of the window. You can access this either by using window.innerWidth. And the value you see here depends on, if you click on output here, the size of this container. So how big you make this container here. Now it's 510, as you can also see here, as this increases and decreases. This is here on JSBin, but that's just a setup here. Generally, this will be your whole window width here, not just something like that. So if you create your own index.html file and import the script and run window.innerWidth, you'll get the full width here. You can also use this without the window object, since again we're on the global scope here anyways, and the global object is the window. Therefore you might just use inner width like this. So clear this, execute it, and you see this is the same. And I'm just going to uncheck autorun.js to stop all these errors while I'm typing. You also have outer width. Let's try this. What will happen if I run JS now? And I'll clear first. So what will it see if I hit run? Well, now here we got as outer width the full size, as inner width this. Now again, this is just because we're on JSBin here. But generally the difference is inner width is all what you see, all your web page, including the scrolling sidebar. And outer width is all of that plus any borders your browser might have. And this is why in this case here in JSBin we have this huge difference, because inner width is simply this tiny output container here, and outer width is the complete page. Normally the difference is not that big, but the difference are possible borders you might have and so on. You of course not only have width, you also have inner height and outer height. And if I execute this, you also got the difference, including the borders and so on when using the outer height, or just the field itself if using the, or just the web page itself if using the inner height. Now what else could you use on the window? Well, try it out. Simply, and I'll get rid of output for now, hit run now and log the complete window. So here you go. These are all the available properties and methods and so on you can use on the window object. So quite a lot, and no worries, a lot of that won't be needed, and this includes, for example, the complete DOM, because that is a property of the window object as well. So the window object is a really complex object, giving you access to a lot of high-level features here. And for example, as mentioned before, the set timeout and set interval are also methods available on the window object here. Another important or useful property you may access is the local storage, which is a built-in storage which will save certain values in your browser as long as the application is running here. For example, you can store something by using the setItem method on this storage. Give this a name because you save key value pairs here. So you have a key here, key 1 for example, and then the value, let's say 1000. And I'm not logging this, but I will log the following where I get the value. So I will log local storage get item and then the name of the key, key 1 for example. So what do you think we'll now see if I hit run? Well, we get 1000. This is how we can store some data to keep it in our running application and use it from different points in our application, because in whichever script file we call local storage, we only have one local storage. And this is why this is a great way to store values you want to use throughout our application at different points of time. We not only have local storage, we also have session storage. And as you can see, if I hit run, this works in the same way. And the difference is that local storage should persist, whereas session storage will be deleted or emptied when the user closes a tab or the browser. The window object also has, as mentioned before, this location property. And if I hit run, you get the location. I'll come back to that in separate lectures. But here you have access to the location you're currently at. And of course, very important too, it has access to the document, the DOM. And this will have its own lectures as well, of course. Another very important thing or cool feature is you can run window.open and then just enter some address, let's say google.com. And let's see what happens if I hit run. Well, a pop-up was blocked. So this tries to open a pop-up with this new address, which of course nowadays won't work too often, but you got this possibility. And you will see other methods of navigating in the location lecture. So that's the window object. And as you saw, there are a lot more available properties and so on. But the goal is not really to go through them all. The goal is to show you how you can work with it and what kind of properties and methods it stores, and you learned about the most important ones already. If you want to learn more, definitely check out the cheat sheet as always, and there you'll find a link to a full article on the window object, which will allow you to dive deeper into that and find out if it has that specific method you were looking for. Also keep in mind, the global scope in which we are working here refers to the window object. So the global object is the window object. And therefore you don't need to specify window.anything. You can directly use the .anything without the dot, because again, we're on that object already by default. So that's the window object.